Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're rediving into a topic that sounds complicated but is super important for anyone thinking about their financial future: trusts. Specifically, we're breaking down the difference between revocable and irrevocable trusts. You might have heard these terms thrown around, maybe by a financial advisor or in an article about estate planning. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what they are, they work, and which one might be right for you. It's not as scary as it sounds, I promise. So grab a coffee, get comfortable, and let's unravel the world of trusts together. First things first, what even is a trust? Think of it like a special box where you can put your assets, your house, your investments, your money. You, the creator of the trust, are called You appoint a manager for this box, called a trustee. This can be you, a family member, or a professional, and you name the people who will eventually receive the contents of the box. The beneficiaries. The main goal of a trust is to manage your assets and make sure they go to the right people at the right time, often helping you skip the long and public process of probate court. It's a powerful tool for controlling your legacy. Now, where it gets interesting is in how much control you keep over that box. And that brings us to the two main types: revocable and irrevocable. Let's start with the most common one: the revocable living trust. The key word here is revocable, which means you can change it. Think of it as a financial plan written in pencil. As the grantor, while you're alive and well, you can modify the trust, add or remove assets, change beneficiaries, or even dissolve the whole thing completely if you change your mind. You typically name yourself as the initial trustee, so you maintain full control over your assets, just like you did before. You can sell the house in the trust, spend the money, whatever you want. It's your box, and you have the key. The magic happens when you pass away or become incapacitated. The trust then automatically passes control to your successor trustee, who distributes the assets to your beneficiaries according to your instructions, bypassing probate. This makes it a fantastic tool for avoiding court headaches and keeping your affairs private. It offers incredible flexibility, which is why so many people choose it for their primary estate plan. So, what are the big advantages of a revocable trust? First and foremost, flexibility and control. Life is unpredictable. You might have a falling out with a beneficiary, or you might sell an asset and buy a new one. A revocable trust adapts with you. Second, it ensures a smooth transition of your assets, without the delay and expense of probate court, which can take months or even years. This means your loved ones get the support they need much faster. Third, privacy. A will becomes a public record during probate. A trust, on the other hand, is a private document. Your financial details and who gets what remain confidential. And finally, it provides for you in case of incapacity. If you become unable to manage your own affairs due to illness or injury, your successor trustee can step in immediately to pay your bills and manage your assets for your benefit, without needing a court to appoint a conservator. It is a plan for both after you're gone and for potential challenges while you're still here. However, a revocable trust isn't a silver bullet for everything. It has its limitations. The biggest one is that it offers no creditor protection while you're alive, because you still have full control and can take the assets back at any time. The law sees those assets as yours. So, if you get into financial trouble or face a lawsuit, creditors can still come after the assets inside your revocable trust. Similarly, for the same reason, the assets in a revocable trust are still considered part of your estate for tax purposes. If your estate is large enough to be subject to federal or state estate taxes, a revocable trust won't help you reduce that tax bill. It's purely a tool for managing your assets and avoiding probate, not for asset protection or tax reduction during your lifetime. So, while it's great for many people, it doesn't solve every single estate planning problem. Now let's flip the coin and talk about the irrevocable trust. As the name suggests, irrevocable means it cannot be changed. Once you create this trust and transfer assets into it, it's a done deal. You, the grantor, give up control and ownership of those assets. The trust becomes its own separate legal entity. Think of this as putting your assets in a locked box and giving the key to someone else, the trustee. You can't just open it up and take things out. This sounds pretty extreme, right? So why would anyone do this? Well, This lack of control is precisely what gives the irrevocable trust its power. Because the assets are no longer legally yours, they gain some very significant protections. This is a much more rigid and serious arrangement, and it's used for very specific goals, which we'll get into now. The main benefits of an irrevocable trust are all about protection and preservation. First, asset protection. Since you no longer own the assets in the trust, they are generally shielded from your future creditors and lawsuits. If you're in a high-risk profession, this can be a crucial way to protect your family's inheritance from potential legal troubles. Second, it can be a powerful tool for reducing estate taxes. By moving assets out of your name and into the trust, you can lower the total value of your estate, potentially bringing it below the threshold where estate taxes kick in. This can save your heirs a substantial amount of money. Third, it can help you qualify for government benefits, like Medicaid for long-term care. Since the assets aren't yours, they don't count against you when determining eligibility. This is a common strategy for seniors planning for future healthcare needs. An irrevocable trust is for playing the long game, protecting your wealth for future generations. Of course, the biggest downside is in its name. It's irrevocable. You lose control. You can't just change your mind if your circumstances change. You've given those assets away for good. This lack of flexibility can be a major issue. What if you have a falling out with a beneficiary? What if you suddenly need access to those funds for a personal emergency? In most cases, you're out of luck. Creating an irrevocable trust is a permanent decision that shouldn't be taken lightly. It also requires a separate tax ID number and may have to file its own tax returns, which adds a layer of administrative complexity. It's a specialized tool for specific situations, not a general-purpose solution. It requires careful consideration and professional advice to make sure it aligns with your long-term goals without putting you in a tight spot later on. So, which one is right for you? It really boils down to your goals. Let's do a quick recap. Choose a revocable trust if your main goals are to avoid probate, maintain flexibility, and have a plan for potential incapacitation. This is the best choice for most people who want a straightforward way to manage their estate and make things easy for their family. It's the foundational piece of most estate plans. On the other hand, consider an irrevocable trust if you have more complex needs. If your primary concerns are protecting assets from creditors, minimizing estate taxes on a very large estate, or planning for long-term care costs by qualifying for government benefits, then the rigid structure of an irrevocable trust might be exactly what you need. It's a more advanced strategy for wealth preservation and protection. Ultimately, you don't have to choose just one. Many comprehensive estate plans use both. You might use a revocable living trust for the bulk of your assets to maintain flexibility, while strategically placing certain assets, like a life insurance policy or a portion of your investments, into an irrevocable trust for tax benefits or asset protection. They can work together to create a robust plan that covers all your bases. The most important takeaway here is that estate planning is not one size fits all. Your financial situation, your family dynamics, and your long-term goals are unique. This is why it is absolutely essential to speak with a qualified estate planning attorney. They can help you navigate the complexities, understand the pros and cons as they apply to you, and draft the documents that will truly protect you and your loved ones. Don't try to do this alone with online forms. The stakes are just too high. A little investment in professional advice now can save your family a world of headache and expense down the road. I hope this breakdown has helped demystify the difference between revocable and irrevocable trusts. They're powerful tools when used correctly. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content on personal finance and planning for your future. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.